WWE's first ever WrestlePalooza event is here. And with an event that promises to be a second version of WrestleMania, WWE should in theory be pulling out all the stops to create a memorable show that fans will never forget. Join us now as we look at the most shocking last-minute rumors and spoilers for WrestlePalooza 2025. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 1. AJ Lee pins Becky Lynch. Now it seems logical that AJ Lee picks up the win for her team during the mixed person tag match. The match will mark AJ's return to in-ring competition, and with AJ Lee being back on a full-time basis, WWE will definitely want to restore credibility and legitimacy. AJ Lee pinning one of the greatest ever in Becky Lynch, who just so happens to be the reigning Women's Intercontinental Champion, would advance the feud between the two and could easily lead to a singles match for the title, potentially even at Crown Jewel next month in Australia. Number 2. Drew McIntyre wins the big one. Now, the build to Drew McIntyre vs Cody Rhodes for the WWE title hasn't exactly lit the world on fire. Rhodes being absent for about 95% of the build has done a massive disservice to the feud, and McIntyre has been predominantly feuding with Randy Orton on SmackDown. Luckily, Rhodes is said to be back full-time now that his acting commitments are done, so SmackDown should be back to revolving around the American Nightmare. But is it too soon for Rhodes to drop the title? Well, potentially. Rhodes only won the WWE title back last month, and losing the title in his first defense could be a poor look and presentation for the face of WWE. However, this is supposed to be a major event, and it could come as a huge surprise if McIntyre secured the win and walked out of WrestlePalooza as WWE Champion. This feud is likely to have multiple installments attached to it, and it is indeed probable that McIntyre does win the WWE Championship, but this victory coming in their first PLE encounter perhaps isn't the smartest move in the world. Number 3. Randy Orton turns heel. The Randy Orton heel turn has been teased for over a year, and the day that Orton turns heel, the man he will no doubt set his eyes on will be Cody Rhodes. Drew McIntyre has been trying to get into Orton's head by explaining that Rhodes didn't hold back against him, and in typical McIntyre fashion, he was completely correct. Orton could surface at the end of the McIntyre vs Rhodes WWE title showdown, and it can be presented as if Orton is going to RKO or even punt kick McIntyre only for him to turn on Rhodes. This would be a shocking twist that nobody would see coming. It would be a major swing, but the results could be magnificent. This wouldn't just freshen up Orton's persona, which some have labelled as stale in recent months, it would also freshen up the stagnant SmackDown product. It's a common consensus that SmackDown has been struggling from a creative aspect, but the show now having a heel Orton at the centre could be the spark the show needs to come alive once more. Number 4. WWE go all out. But due to WWE heavily promoting this event, and even notable figures in the company stating that the event could be seen at the level of WrestleMania, there's an expectation that WWE will and must go all out, pun intended, with the show. But how exactly do they do that? Well, WrestleMania feels special thanks to the spectacle itself, so WWE should deliver a grand stage with significant pyro. How likely is this? Well, special stages are rare in WWE, but they did deliver one for Clash in Paris, so it's possible that there will be a special stage for each PLE moving forward. Whilst WWE have claimed that Triple H has been working all day and night on this PLE, that remains to be seen, as the build has left a lot to be desired, and as things stand, there isn't even a poster for the show. And while that may be a small thing in the grand picture of things, it is still something that is missing from every single PLE that has been brought out. There just feels like a sense of laziness or WWE being on autopilot for this PLE. They've already secured the deal, so whatever. WWE has a mostly solid card where a lot of these matches could deliver in-ring wise. They also have an endless contact book, so if they want legends to appear on the show, all they have to do is make the call. Number 5. Jey Uso turns to the dark side. And one of the top stories in WWE right now has revolved around main event Jey Uso. Jey has been showing more heel tendencies on TV, and this has been a character shift that Jey has needed for some time. Whilst Jey has been turning into Roman Reigns, as Jimmy labels it, it doesn't appear that this is a full-blown character shift, and it's simply a case of the frustrations of Jey losing the world title coming to the forefront. The Usos will take on the Vision at WrestlePalooza, and Jey's actions as of late will be the focus of the entire match. A lot of fans are theorizing that Jey will turn on Jimmy, and this may be teased, but it's likely that Jey will realize that Jimmy is the one who's had his back, and the two will pick up the win. It'll be smart for WWE to move the legendary tag team into the Raw tag division, as the tag division is struggling to say the very least, and inserting two credible names would instantly elevate the division. Number 6. Asuka costs Io. The rivalry over on Raw between Io Sky, Asuka, Kairi Sane and Rhea Ripley has been one of the most celebrated programs on WWE television. WWE have slowly built up the issues between the women, and Asuka's performance in particular have been a significant highlight of Raw each and every week. Sky is now set to face Stephanie Vaquer for the vacant women's title, and it's unclear who WWE will position as the new world champion moving forward, yet Asuka finally turning on Sky could be the way to go. WWE could then book a Kabuki Warriors vs Sky and Ripley match for Crown Jewel in Australia, in a match that could easily be a strong contender to headline the show. Before this big turn to work at WrestlePalooza, it has to be handled correctly, and WWE may wish to have Ripley save Sky from a vicious beatdown at the hands of the Kabuki Warriors. And number 7, who confronts John Cena? Now it's been confirmed by WWE that John Cena and Brock Lesnar will main event the show. Now this creates an interesting dilemma for WWE. Whilst WWE could easily run the match back at Crown Jewel, Cena isn't set for any dates between WrestlePalooza and Crown Jewel, meaning that the wrestler Cena faces at the show will need to build a match on their own. WWE may have Cena written off for a few weeks before coming back in Australia to finally conquer the beast. WWE have actively marketed the match as a final encounter between two foes, so it's unlikely that WWE go back on their marketing, especially for a debut event like this. The WWE Great is now running out of dates and matches, and there will be a significant disappointment if WWE extends this rivalry. If Cena doesn't face Lesnar again at Crown Jewel, WWE may wish to have someone confront Cena at the end of his match at WrestlePalooza. This could be a name to set up the Crown Jewel match or even tease a future storyline. Luckily for WWE, they have a huge number of options for this mystery individual, the first being Drew McIntyre. One of the favourites to wrestle John Cena in his final match ever in WWE is Drew McIntyre. McIntyre has teased a feud between he and Cena in various interviews throughout 2025, and he's a safe bet to wrestle Cena in December. McIntyre making his intentions clear and confronting Cena to close out WrestlePalooza would be a great way to wrap the show. However, with McIntyre in the midst of a feud with WWE Champion Cody Rhodes and December still being a few months away, maybe too soon to physically tease the matchup. What about a wild one, Chris Jericho? Chris Jericho is almost certainly WWE bound, and it's possibly the worst kept secret in pro wrestling right now. Jericho has been teasing a WWE return on his socials, and the latest information on his AEW contract is that it expires in December. However, that hasn't been confirmed by AEW or Jericho himself. Imagine if Jericho is already signed with WWE and WWE is wishing to run back one of Cena's most iconic rivalries one more time. This would be a huge surprise return to close out the show, and with WWE wanting to make the show as memorable as possible, a return like this isn't exactly completely out of the question. There's also AJ Styles. One match that fans want to see in John Cena's final ever year is a match with AJ Styles. The two had amazing matches in 2016 and 2017 respectively, and it's only natural that fans want to see the two legends collide one final time. Unfortunately, Cena has outright stated that he may not get a chance to wrestle everyone, and Cena even paid tribute to AJ during his match versus Logan Paul. There's a huge opportunity for WWE to have AJ confront Cena to close out WrestlePalooza, and fans would definitely eat it up. AJ has the ability and star power to build a match himself. This is one of those matches that doesn't need a ton of build, as the storyline can be done via video packages due to their established history together. The fourth is Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio seems destined for a match with John Cena before 2025 is out, and it could be the match that Dirty Dom needs to take him to the next level in WWE. Mysterio confronting Cena at the end of the PLE wouldn't just be a huge boost for the young star, but it would also be a major boost for the prestige of the IC title, which just so happens to be a championship that Big Match John has never won, making him a Grand Slam champion in one of his final matches ever. And what about The Rock? Now it's truly baffling that The Rock was such an integral part of John Cena's heel turn, only for him to never appear on WWE programming again. The final boss decided to distance himself from WWE creative following Elimination Chamber, and this unfortunately did a huge disservice to Cena's entire creative run in WWE. And with that being said, is WrestlePalooza the moment that the world gets closure on the entire storyline? Imagine Cena is standing tall after defeating Brock Lesnar and The Rock's music hits. The place would go absolutely insane. If WWE wants to make the inaugural WrestlePalooza a show that fans never forget, then this is definitely the way to do it. The PLE going off air with Cena and The Rock face to face would be a viral moment that WWE craves, and it could lead to some fascinating TV during Cena's final few months as an active talent. Now, if John Cena actually does defeat Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza, this will be a huge milestone for him, as it will be his 100th PLE win. Following that huge milestone, there's gotta be a huge moment to close out the show, and one of these stars could definitely confront him. Who do you think it will be? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.